The only way to defeat a bad guy with a Fantasticar is a good guy with a Fantasticar. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today Thespian has asked me to play a Mono Black Fantasticar brew. I don't think we need to talk about this card very much. It is an absolute terror in Eternal formats as of right now, and will perhaps not be legal in multiple formats as of August. What I do want to talk about is the supporting cast here. So I was told that I needed to do two things. Number one, play a Mono Black Fantasticar deck. Number two, add in, shift that over a little bit, a Singleton Phoenix Fleet airship for the spice. I think this card fully is not good enough for Legacy and certainly doesn't belong in this shell, as this is a card that does not imprint under Chrome Mox, which is kind of a deal breaker when you are trying to do Mono Black Fantasticar stuff. But we can play the spice for the sake of playing the spice. This is roughly based on a, I think, challenge top 8 deck list that I've edited a decent amount. My whole goal today is to punch a hole, do the Fantasticar or the One Ring, while stopping my opponent from doing their own Fantasticar stuff. So I am on 7 main deck discard spells rather than something like Fatal Push as more generic interaction. I know what I am about. I am taking counter spells and opposing Fantasticars. We have 16 pieces of artifact mana, and not only Dark Ritual, but also Cabal Ritual to help make our Fantasticar and One Ring turns happen. If you want to lean into Phoenix Fleet Airship more, you could certainly build the deck with the Super Shredder style cards. This is like Plan D. Plan A is Fantasticar, Plan B is the One Ring, Plan C is Urza Saga token beatdown, and the the Phoenix Fleet Airship is there if all that stuff doesn't work somehow. As far as the sideboard goes, what are we up to, E? We also just have Barrogoyfs that we can cast off of Dark Ritual and Cabal Ritual, and Barrogoyf will do Barrogoyf things. I have Bowmaster for opposing Bowmaster because we really care about our One Ring doing things in this deck. And then I am covering Reanimator and Fair decks with the remainder of the sideboard here. We're probably going to feel kind of like an Ancient Tomb deck in the amount of self-damage that we do to ourselves over the course of the game between Thoughtseize and all of these lands, but hopefully we just whack our opponent for 16, and that doesn't matter. So folks, if you need any Magic cards for this new highly volatile metagame, please consider getting them from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com, and when you do, use promo code ThrabenU to save yourself a little bit on your order. With that being said, let's battle. Well, I'm real close. I think with only 1 true mana here, towards the Fantasticar, I just mulligan this one. Alright, Fel to Profane, Dark Ritual, 3 mana, down to 2, up to 5, play the One Ring. Yeah, seems good. I'm going to keep this, and I think just get rid of the Bauble here. I want both One Rings, in case my opponent does discard. Opponent mulliganing to 5. My ideal draw here is probably a piece of discard to ensure that the One Ring resolves. But if it doesn't, this is the plan. 3 life. Dark Ritual. Ooh, opponent doesn't like that. Okay, it's just Brainstorm. Second Dark Ritual. One Ring, which I'm hoping resolves. It does not. Cunning Wish. So, given this, my opponent is probably playing an Omniscience Show and Tell deck. Blooded Strand comes down, opponent passes the turn, and I will pivot into fair Urza Saga stuff. I'm not an amazing Urza Saga deck without something like Lava Spur. Nice. I think I take the flow state without something like Lava Spur Boots to speed up the kill, but presumably I will draw more artifacts and this will get grosser. I'm very surprised my opponent didn't cast that flow state. I've got active Urza Saga, I will be pressuring their life total. Opponent says no to Atraxa, finds another land. There's a Mox Opal. Yeah. I suspect there's no major advantage to playing this out or holding it immediately. Opponent fetches, and they have stock up. I will make my token. That is a Fantasticar. I'm currently thinking about whether or not I would like to cast the One Ring rather than make this other Urza Saga construct token. I think I am just going to make the token. Just like have a Lotus Petal chill in play. And I think we're not doing Fantasticar crimes. I think this is just, I try to kill you in 2 combat steps before you complete your combo. It's like fully scary. My opponent cast a stock up. I know they have Omniscience. If they find Show and Tell, like, there's a very, very, very high chance that I lose. That is Show and Tell. I think I'll put the One Ring in. All right, what is your last card? It is a Ponder. 4 looks at Broken Things. It may be correct to Polluted Delta for a Surveil land before casting that Ponder. Or no. Maybe. Opponent fetches. Casts Flow State. New Ponder. Rainstorm. Emrakul, and I am at 15 life. This doesn't give me protection right now. I think I am donezo. I am donezo. GG. Duress can come in. I'll probably end up doing this. I'm gonna probably board Phoenix Fleet Airship out every single round, I suspect. Just anytime we bring in interaction, this is just going to be the worst card in my deck. Maybe I don't bring in Bowmasters if my opponent has stock up and flow state. Maybe Bowmasters isn't good enough. Yeah, maybe Bowmasters isn't good enough. This hand is basically entirely mana. That's not going to cut it. This second hand goes 1, 2, 3, and then it casts 2 Duresses in a row. It's very awkward that I don't have a single land to cast these Duresses, because then I could hold all of these other cards, or most of them. I could keep 6, put a Duress back, and try to work towards drawing mana to do Fantasticar stuff. That might be better than my average 5-card hand. I am going to do that. Let's see what's going on. Overall, a very solid hand. I'm going to take the Spell Pierce, and I will chill with all of these in hand. I suspect that I lost this one just by comparing opening hands here. I think my opponent having access to that much card draw and manipulation is going to put them in an amazing spot. I'm just going to pass the turn here. Mana situation's real weird, and there may be some exact draws that make me want to play out one of these artifacts this turn. Opponent ponders, shuffles, and then passes. All right. Vault, Petal, Opal, Fantasticar, go. I don't have any protection. I don't know that I can wait. Spell 1. Spell 2. Spell 3. I signaled to my opponent that I care about Spell Pierce, so like if I were them, I would have been using cantrips very aggressively to look for counter magic. Now I just kind of need to cycle this and try to find something new to do. Opponent has a Brainstorm. I'll take my redraw. It's the same thing, which is not actually all that great. Ancient Tomb from my opponent. The show and tell stuff is just live at this stage, but it is stock up instead. My opponent will just bury me in cards. I need like a 1 ring to refuel and keep up with the cards that they have, but I suspect that they will just beat me. I'll hold these in case I get to Fantasticar, because as soon as my opponent taps that Ancient Tomb, Fantasticar for 16 is a live line. That's a show and tell. I'm not going to put anything in. If they've got it, they've got it. Okay, that's Omniscience for Cunning Wish. That will certainly end up killing me. My opponent's got that one there. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I love them. I have over 1,000 deck lists here. And I think the thing that I like the most about them is they're more than just a basic deck builder. If you need information about your next pre-release or where you can get cards, they have that sort of stuff here too. Whether you need to manage your collection or just a couple of decks, Moxfield does it all. So go check them out. All right, opening hand has no mana here. This is not gonna cut it. Second hand, land, Lotus Petal, Cabal Ritual, 3 mana. So this is the 1 ring on turn 2. I will keep this. I will throw one of these baubles back. Do this one. See if I can figure out what deck my opponent is playing immediately, in case it changes anything. Blue deck is the answer. I will drop my land and pass the turn. I get Boggart Trawler. Opponent has Volcanic Island. Unmask you. One ring. Okay. Yeah. Opponent has Spell Pierce. This game is now weird, because, like, I basically lose if my opponent has another counterspell here, but I don't really have manipulation, so I think I'm just jamming. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thoughtseize is not really what I want to be drawing, but I'll take it. Ooh, opponent is also a combo deck in all likelihood. And they're a second main phase hipster on top of that. That land drop was probably wrong with that timing. Like, assuming combo deck, what red card do you really, really want to cast off that ponder that it's worth shutting off fetch shuffle as a line? I don't know. Let's draw some cards, though. I am going to double discard spell here, and then loop down Urza Saga. Ah, that's what we're doing. Well, isn't this awkward, where my opponent can protect with Brainstorm after this? Do I need to take Archon? Boy, that feels weird. I don't want that to be true. I think it is true. Yuck. So then I will duress and get something else. Yeah. At this point, do I take Brainstorm? At this point, I think I'm taking Brainstorm. Game got weird. So this forces my opponent to use a very inefficient cantrip to try to turn their cards into live cards. Definitely nervous here. Like, for having cast 3 discard spells, I think I am in a terrible, terrible spot. 15. Boy, do I have mana. What if Fantasticar? I guess this would just bounce the Fantasticar, so it's not actually all that good, is it? Alright, they're gonna bounce my ring. Still get to, like, draw the cards off of it. So I think this actually just improved my position. So now I go Dark Ritual, 7 cards in graveyard, Cabal Ritual, 1 ring. I will get protection from everything again. I will take a redraw. Does graveyard matter enough for stock up that it is worth dropping an Urza Saga token for? Or sorry, not stock up, like a potential flow state. It might. I think it doesn't. Guess I'll use this. Put this into play. Pass turn. I don't think I'm taking extra draws. I think this is just a literal point of power. Opponent fetches. They do have show and tell. It's not great for me. That's an Atraxa. Nuke your graveyard. Opponent gets a bunch of cards. I'm just trying to make construct tokens that are bigger than Atraxa, I guess. So my opponent is going to have Emrakul plus Sneak Attack. Not great. Take 1 to the 1 ring. Fantasticar. What do I get? My opponent gets Spell Pierce. Alright, so I, in theory, need 3 mana to be able to Thoughtseize. So if I go bam, bam, land drop, Mox Opal, that gets me there. So let's do that. Mox Opal, land drop, dismiss, Thoughtseize you. Also show and tell. Thanks, I hate it. So I'm ending up in this situation again where I kind of have to take the Emrakul and hope the stock up doesn't get me. Ugh. Alright, go to Punchies. Would you like to lose your Atraxa or take 7 points of damage? I imagine you take 7 points of damage. And then I will pass the turn. Atraxa is so much life. Stock up is great. Volk comes down. Show and tell happens. There's Emrakul. This Atraxa is so bad for me. It puts my opponent to 17. I need to kill them through multiple blockers here. Nearly dead to my own 1 ring as well. I think we're now playing towards a Fantasticar line. My opponent's tapped out. That other Spell Pierce doesn't matter. Draw a card. Fell the Profane. Okay. Opponent might die. Opponent straight up might die. I need to hit, but they could die. I've got 3, not 4. Fell the Profane on Atraxa. Fantasticar is a creature. I have like 14 damage, 15 with Lotus Petal. I am just short on damage. 1 ring line instead. 4 mana for the 1 ring. I have 3 mana towards also casting Fell the Profane. Is there an Urza Saga plus Fell the Profane line? So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, because I have to use Lotus Petal to activate this. Okay. 1, 2, I hope I'm not typing the wrong thing. 3, 4. Fantasticar is a creature. Keep the untapped one. Draw a card. Not Dark Ritual. I now can't Fell the Profane. So we'll do all of the other things, I guess. Take a card. Bobble. Lotus Petal. Say yes. So opponent blocks, goes to 24, blocks 16, 19, not lethal. I think I hold this past turn, turned this into a card. 1, 2, keep 4 mana to Fell the Profane Atraxa. No, I don't turn this into a card. That's a permanent, I think. Lifelink from Atraxa is so good here. I don't know, maybe I just turn everything sideways there. Lose a Construct token to Emrakul, lose a Construct token to Atraxa, hit my opponent for a bunch. Maybe that was wrong. I was doing math for just surviving the Emrakul attack and countering this. So if I do this, lose both of these, opponent takes a bunch of damage. Yeah, maybe I was just supposed to turn my creature sideways. I think that was wrong. All right, Lotus Petal's fine. Okay, cool. So I will now, I think, draw first. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I think this Urza Saga token fully doesn't matter. It's just a Lotus Petal. Do I have enough mana to also Fantasticar again? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 7, 8. Yes, I do. Lead on the Duress. Yep. Second Fantasticar. Lotus Petal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ungodly amount of damage. Alright, I don't think I threaded that game well. I won anyway. Fantasticar's stupid. GG. I am thinking about Duress and Bowmasters again. I think we're going to do the adjustment that we did last round and just send it right back. This unmasks my opponent and then plays the One Ring. Seems good. That is a tapped land. Atraxa to graveyard. Alright. Unmask. Pitch a Dark Ritual. Opponent has a pretty redundant hand. What creature don't I want them to have? Probably Atraxa. Pay 3 life. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. One Ring. Draw. Redraws versus hold for Fantasticar is a thing. I think I'm just going to take redraws. So, top card of opponent's library is Ancient Tomb. Get a random card in your hand. There's the island that I've already seen. Then I will get some redraws, and we're looking probably to dig for Fantasticar to just finish this game off. My opponent having the Ancient Tomb on top of library is actually very scary, working towards that sneak attack ASAP. Now my opponent has Consign. Well, I can take it, I guess. Draw some cards. Thoughtseize them and unmask them. Take both sneak attacks. Thoughtseize you. I can also just take Archon and Consign. And then when I get Fantasticar, I effectively kill my opponent. I don't hate that. Let's take Archon. And there's a little bit of tension here with how I use my resources. I think my current thought is get deeper. I could have done this prior to anything else I did. I will drop this as a land drop. I think I will find any black card between draw step and 3 One Ring draws and the bonus bobble draw. Alright, there's that Ancient Tomb. There's the sneak attack. I need to get this show on the road. More discard is not really helping at this stage. Yeah. All of this is terrible. Kind of unfortunately. Land drop. I'll just... Do I want to play another One Ring? Protection might matter. I'm going to play another One Ring. Keep this one. Draw a card. I don't even think I want to unmask right now. Like, I know everything that's there. That's a land. That's fine for us. Now, hopefully I don't get soloed by my One Rings and Thoughtseizes. Okay, there's a win condition. That's fine. Alright, there's Fantasticar. Dismiss this. Duress, you take Consign. Yeah. Billion D cards in graveyard. Spell 2 is Cabal Ritual. Land drop. Spell 3 is Fantasticar. Spell 4 can be like an unmask, pitching a Thoughtseize. Sack Fantasticar. Take sneak attack. I need to dodge exactly the next draw. My opponent can't tap their Ancient Tomb anymore, although I don't know if that's actually relevant. So, we dodge. We dodge, we get a match win. This was some high-pace gaming. We are 1-1. GG's. Alright. Phoenix Fleet Airship sighting. It's not good. I might be keeping this opening hand just on the strength of Thoughtseize you twice while doing Urza Saga crimes. It's so very much damage to myself. I will literally deal half of my life total to myself in 2 turns. Oh, my opponent's on combo. We're like very dead to like Delver past turn. Opponent is on combo. Well, cast this. Goodbye, Lotus Petal. Yeah. 3 life. Dismiss this. Thoughtseize you. Are you initiative? Oh, you are Reanimator. I mean, I'll take your Animate Dead. They had Unmasked themselves Animate Dead as their line they were going for. Now their hand kind of does nothing, which is great. I'm pretty likely to lose my Fell the Profane as a land drop. And then I can't Urza Saga 100% of the time, which is awkward. My future discard spells are also quite bad. Where did I land on Graveyard Hate for this deck? Excellent. I'm very surprised my opponent is tanking for this long. Like, it seems very clear to me that this is the best card. I can't cast Thoughtseize anymore. Alright, yeah, they figured it out. And Lotus Petal was their draw. Alright, I will put this into play. And I'm going to put this into play as well, just so it's not taken by a piece of discard. I can activate Urza Saga at least once. And that at least gives me a threat to do something with. Surveillance does not randomly spike a creature, which is great for me. I would really like to win game 1 versus this deck. That's a disaster. That puts a threat into graveyard while potentially digging for reanimation stuff. Alright. They chose not to put Archon into graveyard. I guess they rationalized that this is good enough, and I don't know, they know, like, my hand is terrible, right? These cards that are in my hand are, like, Chrome Mox fodder. Alright. Sad token beatdown. And I will desperately look at my deck, hoping there's Graveyard Hate in there that I forgot about. Spoilers, there's not. We'll go Opal here. I have Vault of Whispers. I will go to Punchies, hit you for 3. I guess. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Alright, we dodge. It's just a land. These discard spells are terrible. I guess, real talk, by taking that creature out of my opponent's hand, I made it so that my opponent couldn't flashback Faithless Looting and hold a card. So, like, maybe that was actually a good thing, despite the awkwardness. And, oh, just a Lotus Petal, that's great. I was going to say, like, I will fire off a thing on any of these. Alright, in for 3. I probably hold this as a spell that can answer a creature. It's just, like, awkward against this one in particular. Although I guess against any of them, really. Sad beatdown plan is working. We're getting to the point where we're shutting off Reanimate. I'm in a duress. I hit Faithless Looting, which is positive. In for 3. Opponent to 7. This is a very awkward Faithless Looting game, where, like, my opponent casting these Faithless Lootings takes them off of Lotus Petal. In for 3. Reanimate fully off the table. I want to have Dark Ritual to cast this, so I guess that's Unmask, pitch, Unmask. It's Faithless Looting again. What a strange game. Any artifact will be lethal next turn. Alright, dodge the reanimation stuff again. Alright. Thoughtseize you. That is a collective brutality. I will take it. In for 3 points of damage, which is not lethal. What a silly game of Magic. GG. Duress in. Where are those ley lines? Ley lines in. I don't know that I can sideboard too much more than that. Airship is out for Duress, and then how do I get the ley lines into the deck? It's actually, like, kind of tough. Unmask? Maybe? Feels weird. Awkward keep? I think? The opponent has Chancellor. I start on Leyline, and opponent is passing the turn. It's really weird to cast this card, or to play this as a land because of Stronghold Gambit specifically. I think I go Urza Saga, cast a Chrome Mox, pay for this, imprint a Cabal Ritual, and play out Lotus Petal for artifact count. And this is my way that I am winning this game, is essentially what I am saying. I'm going to hold this in case my opponent has Strongholds Gambit. I could, like, play it as a land this turn or next turn. I could Dark Ritual it out as just additional aggression as well. I think it's correct to just play around Stronghold Gambit. Collective Brutality instead. So this will take my Dark Ritual, and that's all fine. That is a Duress. I will cast that. Hold on, do I need to Cabal Ritual? I don't think so. Alright. Duress you. Opponent is fully on Reanimator stuff. So I will take Faithless Looting, leave them with effectively no cards. Yeah. Alright. Now that I've seen that the coast is clear, I will pay the life for this, activate Urza Saga, and try to just close out this game before my opponent randomly spikes Stronghold Gambit or Show and Tell that gets around Leyline of the Void. End of turn. Make a friend. Then make another friend. Grab a Bauble. Play Chrome Mox. Do this. Send in for 5. I'll kill my opponent in 2 combat steps. This is fine. I don't think I need to take a redraw. Bauble. In for 12. Opponent to 2. At this stage, either one of these connecting is lethal. So I think I do this. Collective Brutality. Sure. I think I'll do this again. I think I want the chance to randomly spike a creature, or if Stronghold Gambit is a thing. Land. Alright, got over the finish line there. We are 2-1. GG's. I've got a weird opening hand here that I think I keep. I think the plan is Duress a combo opponent, and then play a fair Urza Saga game the entire time. I think I lead on basic Swamp, though, rather than Vault of Whispers. I just take Swords? I could take Force of Will and try to resolve the Fantasticar next turn if I draw any black card. I think I would just be happy with the Fantasticar taking Force of Will blue card, though. I'm going to take Swords. Opponent says they're a big fan. You're in a video! And I'm doing crimes. Basic Island and Ponder. Very fast shuffle there. So I'm not playing the Fantasticar this turn, but I'm pretty close to just 16ing my opponent at some point. I'll need that Force of Will to go away first. That is a Tamiyo. And opponent's just going to transform it right away. That's fine. Like, the hope is that I just chonk down Tamiyo with Urza Saga tokens, and it's not actually that big of a deal. I'll play Vault of Whispers and pass. That's a hyper-aggressive thing to do in the face of an Urza Saga ticking up towards Pithing Needle. That is Flow State. Sure. The opponent wants to find a Swords for this token. Oh, they're just going to Tamiyo minus. Sure. That'll do. Opponent has so many cards. I'll activate this again. I'd like to find a discard spell for that Force of Will before I cast the Fantasticar. Mox Opal is pretty reasonable. I can also just cast the fucking Fantasticar. Let my opponent force it. Nah. In at Tamiyo. There's some tension here between, like, wanting to make these constructs as big as possible and everything else. I played my land. It was Urza Saga. But we're good here. Tamiyo pluses. There's another Flow State leading into a land drop. Another Tamiyo. Joy! So I don't have anything to get rid of this force. I think I'm going to imprint Boggart Trawler this way. This kills Tamiyo or other Tamiyo if my opponent doesn't have the Swords. I guess Urza Saga activation already did that, but I'd prefer to do that at instant speed. Alright, Planeswalker Tamiyo is down. We're chilling there. My opponent has so much card advantage with multiple Flow States and 2 Tamiyos. Like, what I'm doing is, like, clearly not healthy. The Tamiyo stuff is not, perhaps the greatest either. Opponent's fetching, and they will be transforming this Tamiyo. We'll presumably immediately go to 4, and I will make friends. Another boggart trawler. Sure. Yeah. Lotus Petal in case it's a deal breaker for casting a Fantasticar on a future turn. I don't know, I could just cast the Fantasticar right now. Otherwise, I'm just fine putting a bunch of baubles into play. Yeah. Oh my god, my opponent just let it resolve. I hope I'm not about to eat shit to a Terminus. Yeah. Yeah. Please don't Terminus me. Face. Always yield to those. God damn it. It is Terminus. I had a better line where I bobble at the beginning of this to see if it's Terminus. Alright. Respect that I just punted the game by not taking that line. I'm gonna cycle all of these and try to refuel. Oh, fuck. It's 4th Aerlingas. Yeah, so I think the line was bobble first, see if that top... There's no way I know to bobble first. That's such an... Like, it's so absurd to play around Terminus. But I could have made the bobble that looks at my opponent's top card my second card once I felt like that was weird. Alright, there's a decent-sized 4th Aerlingas. And I have 3, 6, 7, 8 mana. 3, 6, 7, 8 mana. Alright, dismiss. Thoughtseize you. Fuck. I was ready to beat a force effect. I was not ready to beat 3. My opponent's got this one. GG. Do I sideboard? This goes out every round. Or duress. Like, do I want Bowmasters and Barrowgoyf? My opponent having Terminus is good anti-Fantasticar tech, I suppose. My opponent probably keeps some number of swords type things in. I don't know that I board up on the creatures. I don't know, at the same time, if my opponent is about to bring in a pile of consigned to memory, it hits Fantasticar in 1 ring. Maybe I need some amount of this stuff. Like, go down on the 2-for-1 discard spell. Go down on Cabal Ritual. That does not have enough mana to function. This is totally fine. I will keep this, get rid of Bobble. And I will fire off turn 1, Dark Ritual, 2 Thoughtseize and Bowmasters. Let's do it. Thoughtseize you. Oh, that hand is slow. I think I just take swords. Bowmasters you. Leave my opponent with a Brainstorm that is incredibly painful to cast. Deafening Silence is their draw. I sure don't care about that. Is that a draw step stop? Now, if you randomly spike a Terminus, you randomly spike a Terminus. I'm going to push damage while the getting is good. Down to 3. Thundering Falls comes in. I would not mind drawing a non-Urza Saga land here. Bam. Bam. 4. Opponent to 11 already. Tarn comes into play. Make my robot friend, who's going to be chunky. 1 ring is cool. I don't think I am casting that. I think I'm just going bam, 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 and finding Mox Opal Tundra. Opal combat. Yeah, that construct token is already a 5/5. Opponent to 1. Fetching is no good for the remainder of the game. Another Bowmaster is guaranteed lethal, and like I have another Urza Saga here as well, so life is bad for my opponent. GG. Let's do that again. My opponent, seeing that I have some creatures that I have boarded into, may be adjusting their sideboard plan. I don't think that means I pivot back or anything. I don't think this has enough mana to be good. I think I will mulligan this one. Yes. Turn 1, Vault, Duress you. Turn 2, Urza Saga, Dark Ritual, Fantasticar, Bobble? Maybe I'm getting rid of Urza Saga to guarantee that I can do the Fantasticar thing. I think that's what's happening. It's really weird. This card's so good. Scalding Tarn and pass. Can I go turn 1 now? The Duress is weird. So, oh, this is really weird. I am just going to regular Duress. Could have jammed. I will take a Brainstorm. I can maybe jam on turn 2. So this is spell 1. If I go spell 2, spell 3, I need the Fantasticar to be in play when I cast the 4th one, which is kind of why this was all awkward. There's Island. My opponent can brainstorm now. One Ring is a great backup plan. Here we go. Fantasticar. Did you find an out, or is this another brainstorm? It is a consign. Yep. I win if I jam on turn 1, but I went for protection and got punished. Let's try to find the next mana source to cast the One Ring. Snapcaster Consign is some shit. Swords coming. Redraw is mana. Okay, cool. But like with Snapcaster Mage there, I can't actually do anything. This is rough. I'll pass turn here. Let's see what my opponent's drawing. Please shuffle. Please shuffle. God damn it. Now there is Snapcaster Consign and regular Consign. What a nightmare. Yep. This is not fun. A discard spell will not be enough to thread this position. Yeah. So I can Thoughtseize, but this... My opponent can just say, okay, resolves, and not actually be in a bad spot. Wrath of the Skies, too. I think I take Snapcaster since it represents other things as well. Wrath, Swords, Consign left. And then I'll pass turn. Opponent ponders. Drops a land. Oh, fuck, I didn't think of that. Yeah. That just blows up my lands. It's not that big of a deal, honestly. But I was not considering that. I would have made the same play. I just didn't think of that as an angle for the Wrath of the Skies. So I know that my opponent has swords. This doesn't work either. Alright. Ponder on my opponent's turn. Opponent can fetch to clear that. And we are in flow state time. Opponent can just drop a land. Cameo is a disaster. Am I doing that? Kind of feels like I do that. This is such a weird sequence. So I cast this to clear their graveyard and hope that they use swords on it so that I can then Barrowgoyf. All right, no Mystic Sanctuary in response. No Swords to Plowshares used. All right, now it's happening. Fourth Airlingas. Okay. Thanks, I hate it. I will be at 15. Opponent is the Monarch. And I One Ring? No, I have 2 artifacts towards Metalcraft, so I can't One Ring and Duress. Alright, so I'm going to Duress and take this Consign. It's Force of Will as well. Ugh. Okay. I could try to get the Force out of the hand. It cost me 3 cards to do that, and then I'm not playing the One Ring. Alright. Fourth Airlingas again. Okay. We can, I think, move on at this point. You've got this one. GG. That 2-2 now? That is 2-2. My opening hand for this round is kind of unimpressive. I think I will just mulligan and try to find something more impressive. This is not particularly impressive. I can mulligan more, or try to keep something that plays a One Ring on turn 3. I think I will mulligan more. Not rewarded. So I can go land, Thoughtseize, and then keep some additional lands. This is not great. I think I am going to keep it. I am not happy with how this shook up. Not that the previous hand was good either. Arid Mesa. Are we just going to get run over by energy stuff? Seems likely. And I don't have removal spells, so I need to do something unfair. I will Thoughtseize you. Multiple swords. I just take the Ocelot Pride so these don't stack up. And I will cycle this Bauble. I need to get deeper into my deck here. So the good news is I know what my opponent has. And I drew Fantasticar, which is a pretty solid unfair thing to do. And we'll just see if their double swords can end up beating this. I need to accumulate some castables here. I have 2 towards the 4 I need for Fantasticar. Fuck, as of right now. I think opponent's hand is going to run me over. And that's fascinating. Okay. I think I'm going to go Swamp. Pass, and then next turn there's a decent chance that I can make 4 bodies. Again, my opponent's hand is fast. I'm not going to do all the math for whether or not things end up super favorably for me if I spike the castable card. I opponent is going to get to make Ocelot Pride fly immediately and lifelink for more, putting them to 23 when that's all said and done. And then they're going to gain another 3 here, 26. And I'm just also taking a respectable amount of damage, and my opponent is not quite at the city's blessing. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cabal Ritual. Oh my god, I just fucked it up. I just fucked it up. Oh my god. Now I can't cast the second Cabal Ritual. Yeah, I needed to go Cabal Ritual, Car, Unmask. I take 1 swords. I can't attack all out. I have to kind of hold things back. I think my opponent still wins from there, but I just fucked that up. GG. This is where I can think about some fair interaction for the first time this league. I think this is the first well, no, we played against a control deck. I think this is the first matchup where Fatal Push is reasonable. I'm going to get rid of all of my copies of Duress. I'm going to get rid of Phoenix Fleet Airship. How do I want to go from there? I think I just want to Fantasticar my opponent most of the time. I think I'm going to go boarding in the cheaper cards here. This isn't super functional. I think I'll mulligan it. I don't really want to keep an Urza Saga hand in this matchup. Urza Saga on 1, Chrome Mox Imprint, Dark Ritual, and then I have to use another Urza Saga to make constructs for the first one. Alright. I don't feel good about this. I think this loses. Chrome Mox, Imprint Ritual, Drop Saga, play Bauble, and pass. Basic Plains and Deafening Silence. Okay, I mean, that doesn't impact the stuff that I am currently doing. That's fine. Unmask. I don't have mana to cast this Fatal Push. Alright. Unmask you, see if there's anything there that randomly cleans up Urza Saga tokens. There's not. There is a Wasteland, though. Oh, I'm so screwed. I'll take Guide of Souls. Yeah, so, like, I think I make 1 Urza Saga token. I get this Wastelanded. If my next draw isn't a land, I think I'm done. Okay, opponent's going to go after the other one. That's totally reasonable. This will let me tutor. And there's Ocelot Pride. Yep. So I get to float a mana. Pick up Mox Opal. Throw this down as a land. And just chill here with a 4/4 blocker in play. Arid Mesa comes down. This opens up Amped Raptor lines for my opponent. And again, this Deafening Silence, whose text I'm sure you can clearly read, will allow my opponent... Yeah, that's better. Will allow my opponent to play a non-creature spell. I'm going to keep Bauble in play. I don't want to lose Metalcraft if this eats a Swords to Plowshares effect. Surgical on Urza Saga. I've used 2 of those already. Not really sure why my opponent has brought in Surgical. Land drop comes down. Johnny's pretty bad for me. Now opponent's going to attack with a cat, because if I block it, they get the Planeswalker. Okay. 19. I think I'm just fully on the losing side of this now. As this happens. And this can continue happening. I think I'm going to save myself 5 minutes here. I think my opponent has got this one. So that is a 2-3 finish. GG's. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Minus the Phoenix Fleet Airship, which shouldn't be in the deck. The deck was pretty reasonable, honestly. It does a decent amount of self-damage. With Dark Ritual and Cabal Ritual, it is pretty good at doing the Fantasticar thing. It is pretty good at doing the One Ring thing. I feel like I needed more win conditions, though. Or alternatively, another source of card advantage of some kind. Maybe that's what the Barrogoyfs were trying to be. Felt hard to sideboard with this deck. As in, it is hard to take things out, since everything is critical to you doing the Fantasticar thing and getting the One Ring into play. I don't think this is better than the blue Fantasticar decks. I think is kind of where I land. And the fact that Consign is good against everything you do, Saga, Fantasticar, and the One Ring, just like makes me want to give this deck a big thumbs down. That's not something that was immediately obvious to me in building the deck, but playing it, it was immediately obvious how big a problem Consign was. And even with Thoughtseize and Duress, I was not punching a hole through some of the opposing like blue-white control decks. And those are scary because, like, when your opponent has something like Consign and Snapcaster, you don't actually take the card you want to take. Or there was another time where he did a discard spell and my opponent just had 3 forces in hand. For being asked to build a mono black card deck, I think this is pretty good. But if you ask me, why should I play mono black versus blue black? I don't know that Urza's Saga is better than the things like counterspells and flow states and stuff that a blue black version can be offering you. Wandering alongside Fantasticar is certainly silly, though. I don't think you would have a bad time playing this at a local level event or something like that. So I give this a thumbs up in terms of, like, this is a decently constructed brew that I would expect to do well on average, but I don't think it's better than other Fantasticar decks, and unfortunately, that's kind of where Legacy is at the moment. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day here, folks. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like or comment on the way out. That sort of stuff helps out a lot. And the donation queue is getting a little light, so if you have a deck you want to see on the channel, you will see it pretty quickly. All that information is available in every video description. I hope you have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya!